In this bulletin, curfew hours amended from today. Maritime travel not allowed, warns officials. And help for stranded students.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Atera Lendua.
Good afternoon, Fiji. The 6 p.m. curfew for Viti Levu has been moved to 7 p.m. effective from today, with a containment border to be lifted once Fiji fully vaccinates 60% of the target population. Prime Minister Morenge Bainimarama confirms the curfew hours have been reviewed as Fiji has achieved 40% full vaccination of the target population. As of this evening, the curfew will be in effect from 7 p.m. to 4 a.m. daily. Once 50% of the target population is vaccinated, the curfew start time will be moved further to 8 p.m. As the full vaccination rate progresses, further relaxations will come into effect. Bainimarama says fully vaccinating 60% of the target population will allow us to start the curfew at 9 p.m. and lift the containment area borders in Viti Levu. He has cautioned that shortening the curfew hours does not give anyone a free pass to disregard health protection measures. The Ministry of Health and Medical Services reiterates its call for maritime islanders not to engage in unauthorized travel to and from Viti Levu. Domestic travel regulation is put in place to prevent the spread of COVID-19 beyond Viti Levu and to protect maritime communities. Permanent Secretary for Health Dr. James Fong is calling on all village leaders, elders and communities to support the ministry's current efforts to protect these maritime islands. Members of the public are encouraged to immediately report any unauthorized or suspicious movements into their communities. Police have raised serious concerns with the continuous breaches of COVID-19 restrictions. This comes as the police force has shown disappointment with the repeated pleas made by the Ministry of Health on the importance of complying with COVID-19 safe measures that continue to fall on deaf ears. In a statement, the Fiji Police Force says their police officers, in support of the whole of government efforts, are doing all they can to spread awareness and monitor compliance. However, they need the public to play their part. Police have confirmed that tougher action will be adopted and they will be more stringent in the enforcement of these life-saving measures. 4 months being away from family members in Mothe, Lao, has made 15 students of Mothe Secondary School susceptible to various psychological issues. These students, 4 teachers and 5 parents who traveled for the cricket competition in April have been stranded in Suva during this time. School principal Ifiremi Taufa says various targeted indoor and outdoor projects and activities have been mapped out to keep these students engaged during these trying times. He adds the students are staying abreast with their worksheets issued by the Ministry of Health. Education.
A few pastors to come around on Sundays just to carry out counseling and advice for our students, so that they are settled, and they are well settled at the moment. They really enjoy that time in Viti Levu.
The U.S. ordered 6 commercial airlines to help transport people after their evacuation from Afghanistan. This as Washington sought to step up the pace of departures of Americans and at-risk Afghans from Kabul. And to our latest COVID-19 update for today. Fiji recorded 303 new COVID-19 infections for the period ending at 8 a.m. yesterday. Of the new cases, 185 are from the Western Division, 33 from the Central Division, and 85 from Kandavu. The Health Ministry also recorded 5 new COVID-19 deaths for the period between August 19th and yesterday. 1 death was from the Central Division and 4 deaths were from the Western Division. Fiji recorded 43,527 cases since April this year. There are now 19,097 active cases with 23,809 recoveries in total. The COVID-19 death toll now stands at 436. The vaccination campaign also continues around the country. As of yesterday, 543,318 or 92.6% of the population have received their first dose of the AstraZeneca vaccine. 234,714 or 40% have received their second dose. The 5 most vaccinated areas include Mba, Rewa, Nandrongai and Naitasiri, which are now 100% first jab. Next is Nandi. Up ahead, Pacific Games plans still ongoing. And Lukaku scores for Chelsea. Stay with us. Welcome back. The Pacific Games Council is expecting some setbacks in the upcoming Pacific Mini Games as a few Pacific countries continue to be affected by the pandemic. Although there is no news of the Games being suspended or postponed, the Council will be meeting in November for its annual general meeting to discuss the way forward. Council President Vidya Lakan says a few countries will take time in preparing.
The athletes in those countries are finding it difficult to find not time, but the opportunity to train and prepare themselves. In some of the countries, there is to be no sporting activities, and that's what's happening in the present time.
Romelu Lukaku scored his first ever Chelsea goal almost a decade after his debut. His team deservedly beat Arsenal 2-0 in the Premier League. Lukaku, who was at Chelsea as a teenager, started at the Emirates after his £97.5 million signing from Inter Milan and looks to have given Blues an ominous new dimension. Fiji Mbati's Michaela Ravalawa's try was not enough to give hope to his St. George Illawarra side a chance at the finals as they went down 36-22 against Roosters in round 23 of NRL last night. The Roosters had jumped out to a 14-0 lead before the Dragons got one back before halftime, and then the Red V scored twice after the break to jump ahead and set up a shock upset. In another NRL match, Fiji Mbati fullback Marcelo Montoya's try for the Warriors was not enough as his Warriors side went down in a nail-biting 24-22 loss to the Brisbane Broncos last night. Cloudy with brief showers over the eastern parts of the interior of the larger islands. That's FBC News now. Join us again for our 1-hour major bulletin at 7 p.m. Be sure to download the FBC app to access the latest in news, sports, and live radio broadcasts from any of our 6 FBC radio stations. Stay safe and good afternoon.